Hey guys, one more lesson about harmony for you. Today let's talk about the tritone substitution, a chord that we will see especially in some jazz or bossa nova, but actually you can see in many other styles and you can use in different ways. I'm Everton Zaquini and let's learn more about harmony. Regardless of the genre of music that you like, understand about harmony will make a lot of difference when you're learning new songs, understand what's happening, and also for your compositions. Today's lesson is more about the function of the chords, how can you find and use some tritone substitution. Let's jump into the lesson. The first thing, if you don't know anything about dominants, it's important that you know at least a little bit about dominants. If you don't know anything, check this video here. It's all about the dominants chords, and then it'll be easy for you to follow this lesson here. Now, if you know about dominants, let's start here. Basically, dominants is the chords that prepare, create some tension to another chord to create release. One example is G7 to C chord, tension release. G7, you'll be your 5th degree, that's your dominant chord. Now, we can substitute this chord for another dominant chord. That's when comes in the tritone substitution, when you can substitute a G7 chord for a D flat 7 chord. Instead of you use G7 to C, you can use D flat 7 to C. Now, why we can use these two chords are very similar. When you play the G7 chord, you have the 7th, which is F, and then you have the major third, which is B. Right? That's the tritone that we have to prepare to C. Now, when we look to D flat 7, we have the third, which is F, and we have the B, which is the 7th. We have the same notes on those two chords. G7, you have F and B, the 7th and the 3rd. And on D flat, you have the F and B, the 3rd and the 7th. With these two chords, we can do this movement from the tension release. G7 and C. Or very common we find some songs, especially on bossa nova jazz, with this function of this chord. Now, how do you find this chord? There are two ways that I like to use to find this chord. Well, first, that's through the name, which is the tritone substitution. If I have a G, 3 whole steps above you have the tritone here. So G, D flat. But I like to think of this chord as well, just half step above of your chord that you want to reach. If you want to reach C, just half step above, you have your tritone substitution. Usually I think this way. I just have a go, I have my main chord, and I apply this chord half step above of it. If you have a G7 chord, you can prepare to this chord. You can do A flat 7, G7. This chord we're going to use as a dominant to prepare to the other chord, and also sometimes just a passage to reach the other chord. We just want to create some tension before the chord that we want. Let's see some examples how we use this chord. Well, the first one, very common, we have here C as a go. We have this 2-5-1, right? We have G minor, G, 7, and C. Instead of I use the G, I substitute for the tritone substitution. I will just use the D flat 7. One song that we can see this application is Girl from Ipanema from Tom Jobim. When you look at the chords of this song, sometimes you see the tritone substitution, or sometimes you see the 5th degree, the dominant chord. For example, if you're going to look the chord progression with the dominant, it would be F major 7, G7, G minor 7, 6, C7 with a 9 in this case, and F major 7. But on the song, the chords are F major 7, G7, G minor 6, F sharp 7, sharp 11. This is one example, but on jazz you find many songs doing this passage. Sometimes you have E minor, E flat 7, D minor, D flat 7, C. From the third degree minor to the first. Which is a very nice way also to use this on pop songs. We can use this to make the song a little bit more sophisticated. For example, if you're playing a pop song, let's say you have B minor and you want to reach G. So you can do, instead of just play B minor and G, you can do the passage B minor, B flat 7, A minor, A flat 7, G. I could do B minor, E7, A minor, D7, and G. But here's another thing that is very common we find and use the Tritone substitution is to keep the bass going chromatically down. So you can apply this idea over pop songs as well. We've been talking about this application in some bossa nova or a little bit more jazzy songs or pop, but if you want to play on rock, you like rock music, you also can use this chord. Let's get this chord E7 augmented 9, then a A7, and instead of we play a B7, we're gonna substitute the B7. For what chord? What is the Tritone substitution of B7? E7 augmented 9, A7, and F7. And again. Some songs you have this. This chord is a Tritone substitution. So before we move to E7 here, we have the F7 chord. Now try to find some songs that you can find these chords, understand a little bit more how we use, how it was applied in the songs, and then you start to apply on the songs that you play. You can start to use this Tritone substitution. This is a really nice chord that you can use. These chords will be very nice and be very useful. If you like this video, remember to hit the like. This way, this video will reach more people. If you don't want to miss the lessons that I'm posting every week, remember to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. Now get the guitar, have fun and practice. Thanks for watching. See you next time.